everyone, welcome back to SCM Hive. Before we start, I want to tell you something different about today's video. So we have done whiteboard explanations, we have done step-by-step calculations also. Today we are doing something new. So today's video is in the case study format. That means instead of just explaining the theory on the board, we are going to follow a real story from start to finish. So a fictional company, a fictional product, but based on completely real concept. The same way energy drink companies actually plan their product launches in real life. Same logic, same method, just a different name. By the end, you will not just understand the theory, you will understand exactly how it works in real business situation. So let's go. So our today's topic is demand forecasting for new launches, okay, and it is based upon the real case study, or it is based upon the real industry methods, and we will use our product for today's video, and the name of the product is GoFizz energy drink. Okay, so now before we meet our case study character, let me ask you something. Imagine tomorrow you are launching a new brand product and a product nobody has ever seen before. How many units do you order from the factory? 100,000, 10,000, how much? You have no past sales, you have no idea, no history, no numbers to look back on. So just a new idea and a supplier waiting for your order. This is the most difficult forecasting challenge in all supply chain. And today through our case study, we are going to solve it together. So I will take one example, a story, and which will help us to understand the case study. So meet Sarah. Sarah has created a brand new energy drink. We called it GoFizz. GoFizz is a sugar-free mango flavored energy drink targeting college students. Think of it like the next big energy drink in the market, but with a unique twist. Sarah wants to launch GoFizz in one city, which is Dubai. That is the first city she chose. She goes to her supplier. The supplier asks her one simple but very difficult question. How many cans do you want for the first month? Sarah has never sold this product before. Sarah has zero past sale data, no history, no idea, no numbers. So how does she come up with a forecast? That is exactly what we are going to find in today's video, step by step. Please note, GoFizz is a fictional brand created only for this educational video purpose. It doesn't exist in real life. The methods and logic used in this case studies are based on real industry practices used by companies worldwide. So, before we help Sarah, let us understand why new product forecasting is so different and so much harder than a regular forecasting. So here is a table for existing product and new product. The difference is in existing product, they have a past sales data, but in new, we don't have any past sales, any data. We don't have any data. Second is, it is known, its customers know that product, but for the new product, we don't have any customer also. Third is, have a seasonal pattern, but in the new product, we don't have any pattern. And in existing product, the uncertainty level is very low, but here it's very high. So if there is no historical data, okay, it means it is equal to different approach needed. With existing product, we use methods like moving average and exponential smoothing method, okay, and time series also, which we already did in the last video. And we showed you those in our last video, but with the new product, those materials are useless because they need past data and we have nothing. So what do we do instead? We use 5 special methods designed specifically for new products, and Sarah is going to use all 5 right now. So please note, new product forecasting is not about looking backward. It is about making educated estimates using research, experts, similar products and small experiments. I mentioned in the board, the first method is market research. It will used by Sarah, and before ordering a single can, she goes out and asks people. It includes survey, I will mention here. Okay. And the focus group. In this method, what are the key points included? And the third is one-on-one interviews, one-to-one interview. And the fourth, she will use online polls, which means social media. Okay. So market research is what? Market research is a directly asking potential customers about their buying intentions, preferences and demand. I will explain again. Market research means directly asking potential customers about their buying intentions, preferences and demands. So what are the tools used in market research? The first is, as I mentioned, survey, which means it can be online or on the paper. Second tool is focus groups, which means small group discussion. Third is one-to-one interviews, and the last is online polls, which is referred to social media. So Sarah visit 3 colleges campuses in Dubai. She surveyed around 500 students. She asked, would you buy a sugar-free mango energy drink for 8 dirhams? So the result was 60% people said yes, I would definitely buy. 25 people said maybe, depends on the taste. And the 15% said no, not interested. So just consider Dubai has 2 lakhs college students. I will mention here. Okay. 2 lakhs college students. Okay. And 60% of 2 lakhs, which is around 1,20,000 potential buyers in 1 month. How many people interested? Almost 1,20,000 people are interested. And thus, then Sarah estimates if even 10% actually buy, that is 12,000 cans, means the conservative estimate is how much? 10%, means actually who will buy what she considered. Okay. So market research gives her the first demand estimate. What will be the first demand? It will be 1,20,000 multiplied by 10%. So it is coming to 12,000 cans. The first estimate with the help of market research, with the help of first method. So people say yes in survey, but buy less in reality. Always take a conservative estimate which reduce by 50 to 70% from survey result to get a realistic forecast. Okay. Next method is analogous forecasting. Okay. Sarah has one estimate which we find out with the help of method 1, 12,000 cans from market research. But she wants more confidence, so she uses second method. Okay. Analogous forecasting. The idea is very simple. Find a similar product that is already existing. Look at how that product performed when it launched. Use that as a reference point for your new product. Okay. So analogous forecasting means, again I am repeating, using a similar product's past performance to estimate demand for your new product. So what will be the step to find this? The step 1 will be find a similar products, means same category product. Okay. If I will talk. Second step, what is that? Research how it performed at launch. So the research is the second step. Third is adjust for your product differences. Okay, like what is the difference in your product, what you will launch, and what is the product, what is the unique thing or the other things in the previous product, what is already in the market. Okay, product differences. And the fourth is use as your demand reference. You can use that number as your demand references. So these are the 4 steps which is important to find the exact figure in analogous forecasting. So Sarah find a similar energy drink which is already existing in the market, and let's call that brand name is Breeze Up. Okay. So Breeze Up launched in Dubai 2 years ago. Same target, college students, same price range, same type of drink. In their very first month, Breezup sold around 18,000. We will take as example 18,000 cans. Okay. So Sarah says, okay, Breezup is the closest product of GoFizz. So 18,000 is my starting reference I will take. Now Sarah look at how GoFizz is different from Breezup. So there are three differences which help her and she find the exact number. So what is the difference in her product? In her product flavor, she have a unique flavor which is I already mentioned initially. Mango flavor she will use, okay, which is better than Breezup. Okay, I will write here, which is better than the Breezup, and how much she is adjusting in with the how much she have more in terms of percentage in the comparison of Breezup. So means if she have a unique flavor, so it is giving weightage plus 10% comparatively Breezup. Second point, we will take smaller budget. She don't have that much money to spend. So it in this case it is not better. It is a big point for her, and which is reducing the weightage of 15%. And the third is price. So she is giving the product 1 dirham cheaper in the market comparatively Breezup, which is better in terms of giving the point, it is worse or better, and then it is giving weightage of 5% or in the adjustment of 5% comparatively Breezup. So if we will total this, it is coming 0%. Okay, so the plus and minus cancel each out, so the net adjustment is 0%. So GoFizz estimate 18,000 plus 0% is equal to 18,000 cans. Okay, so Sarah now has her second estimate, which is 18,000 cans. Think of it like this: a new movie is releasing next month. Okay, the producer want to know how many people will watch it. So he look at a similar movie that released last year, same type of stories, same kind of actors, same target audience. That movie got 2 million viewers. Okay, he says, my movie is similar, so I will use 2 millions as my starting point. Then adjust up or down based on the differences. That is exactly what Sarah did with GoFizz and Breezup. Okay, so Breezup, the movie that has already released. GoFizz, the new movie coming out. 18,000 cans is equal to 2 million viewers. So her starting reference point will be 18,000 cans as per the second method. Third method is expert opinion. Two estimates so far. In first method we got 12,000 and in second we got 18,000 figure. Now Sarah uses method 3, which is expert opinion. She goes to people who know the market deeply, people who have seen hundreds of product launches, and she asks them, what do you think? So if I talk about expert opinion, means collecting demand estimate from the experienced professionals who know the market. So with whom she will connect? So the first is sales team. Okay, they know what customers want. Second, she will connect distributors. Easy, right? Distributors, they know what moves off shelves. Third, she will contact retailers. Means they know buying patterns. And the fourth is industry experienced. Means industry experience, industry consultants, they track market trends. And the last is Delphi methods. Now this is something new. Delphi method means structured panel of multiple experts. So she will connect with these people to get the proper enhance as per our method. Third, which is expert opinion. Sarah speaks to three experts. Expert 1, a Dubai supermarket manager. Okay, a Dubai supermarket manager, I will mention. Sugar-free drinks are trending right now. Mango flavor is very popular in summers, he told, and he gave the estimate of 15,000 cans, okay, in 1 month. Okay, and then expert 2, which is from beverage industry consultant. Okay, beverage industry consultant, and he told that new energy drinks typically captured 0.5 to 1% of market in 1 month. Okay, so Dubai energy drink market is around 2 million cans per month. We will take as the estimate figure. So 0.75% of 2 million is how much? It's almost around the same number, 15,000 cans in 1 month as per the expert 2. And expert 3rd is sales team. I will mention here. As per them, they mention it is based upon the our like pre-launch product, you can say, and the social media response. The estimate figure they gave 20,000 cans in 1 month. So average of 3 products opinion, if I will take average of the 3 figures, it is almost around 50,000 divided by 3, and the average is coming 1,667. We will take 70,000 as a round figure. Okay. And if I talk about the Delphi method, which I mentioned, Delphi method is a technique where a group of experts give their demand estimate privately and independently. Results are shared back. They revise their answers, and this process repeats until the group reach one agreed forecast number. Okay, now we got our third number also, which is 17,000 as per our third method, which is expert opinion. Next is the most powerful but takes the most time. So instead of estimating, you actually sell the product. Launch in a very small area and see what actually happens. Then scale up based on the real results. We are talking about the method 4, which is test market. Okay, test market means launching the product in a small controlled area or segment first to get the real enhance or real demand data. So how it works? The first is we need to focus on a small test area. Okay, a small test area. The first step means you can consider small, one mall, one district, one city, anything which is small. Second is launch product only and only for 4 weeks. Launch product for 4 weeks. Third is measure actual sales. Measure actual sales with the help of 4-week data. And the last, scale up to full market. As per the result, what you are getting here, scale up is up, it's up to the result, it's up to the figures. Okay, scale up to full market. If you are getting good response here, then you can follow this 4 step. Scale up to the full market from the small area. Sarah decided to test GoFizz in just one shopping mall in Dubai only and only for 4 weeks. That mall gets around 50,000 people per month or visitors per month. She places GoFizz in 3 shops inside the mall. After 4 weeks, the result was in if I will mention in week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Okay, in week 1, she sold they sold 800 cans. Okay, you can consider as the new people or the people who wants to know the taste. Okay, in week 2, it's 650 cans. Okay, they sold, and in week 3, 700 cans. and in the last week 750 cans. Okay, so total in one mall, how much total in 4 weeks they sold? 290, 100. So just consider Dubai has 80 major shopping malls, but Zara is launching in only 20 initially. How much? 20. So what will be the figure here? 58,000. Means launching in 20 malls, in one mall sells 4 weeks. Okay, so the thing is, we got the numbers 58,000 now, but the mall visitors are only part of the market. Zara also plans to sell in the supermarkets and the campuses. So she estimates malls of 40% of total sales. Okay, and the thing, so total estimate is around, if I will consider 58,000, okay, 58,000 divided by 40%, which is around 0.4, is equal to 145,000. Okay, but this seems too high, right? So she applies a conservative factor of 50%. Conservative factor of 50% she applies. So 145,000 divided by 0.5 is equal to how much figure? Sorry, multiply by 0.5. So how much figure she is getting? 72,000, almost 72,500. If you don't know the conservative factor meaning, it means that deliberately reducing your estimate to be on the safe side, so you do not over order and end up with too much stock. Okay, so test market estimate is equal to approximately, as per this figure, it will be around 15,000 to 20,000 cans. Okay, so test market gives real data, which is most reliable method. As per the end of this method, these figures is a more reliable method because we did the experiment for 4 weeks in the mall to get the exact figure. So in real world example, this is exactly what fast food chains do. Before opening 100 restaurants, they opened one in a city to do the test. So they watch sales, customer feedbacks and the waste. Then they decide whether they need to expand or they need to stop as per the figures whatever they are getting after that test experiment. Our last method is product life cycle analysis. Every product, no matter what it is, go through 4 stages in its life. Understanding where your product will be in those stages help you forecast demand for not just 1 month but the whole year ahead. Okay, so we will start. The first stage is introduction of the product. Okay, which means low sales, high uncertainty, building awareness about the product. Second is growth. Okay, which means sales rising fast, word of mouth, competitors enters. Third is maturity, which means sales peak, stable, high competition, and the last is decline, which means sales falling, product become outdated. If I will draw here, it will go like this. Okay, so each stage needs different forecast approach. So Zara maps go phase on the product life cycles. So if I will talk about introduction, it is in between the month of from 1st till 3rd month, means it is an introduction stage. In this stage, demand will be low and uncertain. People are still discovering the product. Zara should order conservatively and avoids overstock in this stage. If I will talk about the growth, it is between from 4 months till 8. Okay, so if product succeed means demand will rise quickly. Sarah needs to ramp up production fast. She must have supply chain ready to scale. And the third is maturity in between 9 to 18 months. Okay, it is a maturity stage, means your demand, it stabilizes about the product. Now Sarah can use ESM, exponential smoothing method, or moving average because she has the data. Competition will increase, and in this stage she needs promotions. And the third and the last is decline, which is more than 18 months. Okay, means if sales start dropping, launch a new flavor or add a new variant, go fizz watermelon, go fizz mint, anything which helps Sarah to to come up or to cover up this decline stage. So we figure it out in introduction stage, order small, test your product and learn. And in the growth stage, scale up the production fast, secure supply. And the third is maturity. In this stage, use ESM method, moving average method, because you have a data. Decline, the last stage, launch variant, means refresh product, something new you need to launch in this stage. And the key insight, in the introduction stage, your forecast will be wrong, and that is obvious and very normal. The goal is not perfection, the goal is to minimize waste and avoid overstock or stock out situation while you really gather the data. So, Sarah has now used all 5 methods, each one gave a different estimate. Now she needs to combine them into one final forecast. How? And by giving each method a weight based on how much she trusts. So in method 1, market research, the estimate is 12,000, the weight was 15% and the weightage value was 1800. In the second, analogous forecasting, the estimated number was 18,000, weight is 20% and the weightage value is 3,600. The third is expert opinion, 17,000 was the estimate value, weight is 25% and the weightage value is 4250. And the fourth is test market. The estimate value was 17,500, 35% was the weightage, 6,125 was the estimate weightage value, and the last is life cycle analysis. 10,000 was the estimate value, 5% weightage, and 500 the weightage value. So Sarah rounds to around 16,000 cans for her first order. Now test market get the highest figure weightage, which is 35%, because it is based upon the real sales data, actual can sold, no estimate. And the life cycle analysis get the lowest weightage, which is around 5%. It does not give us a specific number, it just says demand will be low at the start, because it is only tell us the stage of the product. It is on introduction stage, growth stage, maturity stage or decline stage. So we gave it the last influence in the final forecast, and the weightage average gives Sarah final number is almost 16,000 as per the calculations, and she rounded around 16,000 cans for her first order. Not perfect, but the best possible estimate with the information available, right? So the golden rule is never rely on just one method for new product forecasting. Use multiple methods, weight them by reliability. The more method you combine, the lower your forecast error will be. Now, the next question is, what happens after the product launch? So, Sarah places her first order of 16,000 cans, okay, in the first month, and Sarah launches Go Fizz mango flavor as discussed. So month 1 ends and the actual sales happens of only and only 14,200 cans out of 16,000. She was off by 1,800 cans. Okay, about approximately 11% of error. Now for a new product launch, that is actually excellent. But here is the most important part. What does Sarah do now with this figure? So what Sarah will do, in the first month she forecasted how much the value 16,000 and actual sales only happen 14,200. Correct? The error estimate that it was 11%. Next, what we will do, she will update the forecast with using the actual sales data, which is 14,200. In second month, what she will do, she will now use ESM or moving average method, because she have data, right, on the real average data. Each month, she will improve the forecast, and by the third or fourth month, what she will do next, the forecast become it will become very reliable. So the lesson is, new product forecasting is not one time. It is a continuous updating process. So Sarah now has real sales data from month 2 onwards. She will use, or she switches to the exponential smoothing method, the methods we taught in the previous video. The forecasting gets better and better each and every month. This is exactly how real companies operate. Start with estimate, launch, collect data, update and repeat the same process. So the key learning is, the goal of new product forecasting is not to be perfect on day 1. The goal is to be enough to launch and improve your forecast with every real data point you collect. Quick recap. So the first, what we did, new product forecasting hits different means zero historical data. Okay, if I will say. Second is the 5 methods we discussed today. The first is market research, which is based upon the surveys and focus groups. Second is the analogous method, means which is based upon the similar product data. Third is expert opinion. Okay, means sales team, retailers, customers, consultants. And the fourth we did test market. Okay, means small launch, scale up. And the fifth we did the life cycle analysis. Okay, means introduction, growth, maturity and the decline. So we are combining all methods, weight by reliability. The third step, what we did, combining. Okay, combine all methods, weight by reliability. Test market gets the highest weights or the low weights. Market research will get the both value. Go with final products. The number we received around 16,000 cans for the first order. And then after launch, switch to ESM and the moving average with real data. And the last and the sixth is forecast improves every month as real data comes in. Let me land this. Sarah started with zero data, no passes, no history, nothing. But using 5 forecasting method, she built a confident first order of 16,000 cans. Market research told her what people want. Analogous forecasting told her what similar product did. Expert opinion told her what professional things like sales team, retailers. And the test market told her what people actually bought. And the life cycle told her where the product is in its journey. So 5 perspective, 1 number, 16,000 cans. That is demand forecasting for a new product launch. Not guessing, not hoping, planning with the best information available. So okay, I am done with this today lecture and hope you like this video and help you to understand with this topic, new product forecasting. Please hit the like button and drop a comment if you were Sarah, which method would you trust the most and why. And if you are new to SCM Hive, please subscribe the channel. And every week free supply chain education, simple, clear, practical topics you will get. And don't forget to download the PPT link from the website that I will add in the description. See you in the next video. ठीक है अभी? ठंडी मानो